Hold on to your hats, folks! President Joe Biden, in a move that surprised even the most seasoned Washington insiders, announced he won't be seeking re-election in 2024. The announcement, delivered with a sincerity and gravitas that only Joe Biden can muster, sent shockwaves through the nation. This wasn't just your run-of-the-mill political maneuvering, this was a seismic shift in the American political landscape. Buckle up, America, because things are about to get interesting. The nation, still reeling from the bombshell announcement, erupted in a cacophony of opinions, each voice adding to the growing din of public discourse. The air was thick with speculation and uncertainty as people from all walks of life tried to make sense of the news. Predictions flew like sparks from a fire, and hot takes were hotter than a jalapeno eating contest in a sauna. In coffee shops, living rooms, and online forums, the debate raged on, with everyone eager to share their perspective. Pundits on cable news channels debated the implications with fervor, dissecting every possible outcome and scenario. Each analyst brought their own expertise and bias to the table, creating a tapestry of analysis that was as varied as it was intense. Social media went into overdrive with hashtags like #Kamala2024 and #Buttigieg2024 trending. Platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram became battlegrounds for political discourse, with users passionately defending their viewpoints and challenging those of others. Memes flooded the internet, capturing the nation's collective bewilderment and injecting a dose of humor into the chaos. These digital snippets of satire and wit spread like wildfire, providing a momentary escape from the gravity of the situation. Politicians scrambled to react, some expressing gratitude for Biden's service, others sensing an opportunity to advance their own agendas. Press conferences were held, statements were issued, and the political landscape began to shift in response to the announcement. The American people, as always, were a diverse chorus of voices, some supportive, some skeptical, and some just plain confused. From the heartland to the coasts, from urban centers to rural towns, the reaction was as varied as the nation itself. One thing was clear, this wasn't just a news story, it was a national conversation. In homes, workplaces, and public spaces, people gathered to discuss the future of the country, each conversation adding to the rich tapestry of American democracy. The announcement had ignited a firestorm of debate, reflection, and ultimately, a renewed engagement with the political process. Standing tall at the podium, President Biden addressed the American people with a directness and sincerity that has become his trademark. He spoke of the challenges facing our nation and the need for unity and purpose in these uncertain times. He emphasized his belief in the importance of fresh perspectives and new generations of leadership. The time has come, he declared, to pass the torch to a new generation of leaders. All eyes turned to Vice President Kamala Harris. As the first woman and first person of color to hold the office, her place in history was already secure. But Biden's announcement thrust her into a new, even more prominent spotlight. The question on everyone's mind, would Kamala Harris step up and run for the top job? Harris remained characteristically tight-lipped in the immediate aftermath of Biden's announcement. Whispers of strategy meetings and the quiet assembly of a campaign team hinted at the possibility of a Harris candidacy. As the Democratic Party grappled with Biden's bombshell, a familiar figure emerged from the progressive wing. Bernie Sanders, the senator from Vermont, was back. Sanders praised Biden's service but warned against a return to the same old politics. The time for incremental change is over, he declared. Sanders' message resonated with a significant segment of the Democratic base, urging him to throw his hat into the ring once more. Amidst the flurry of speculation, a voice of reason and experience emerged. Elizabeth Warren, the senior senator from Massachusetts, stepped into the fray. Warren urged caution and careful consideration. She acknowledged the challenges facing the Democratic Party and the importance of choosing a candidate who could unite the country. We need to have a thoughtful, inclusive conversation about the future of our party, she emphasized. Her words carried a subtle but unmistakable message. Choose wisely. With Biden out of the running, the race for the Democratic nomination became a wide-open contest. The political landscape was suddenly filled with a sense of unpredictability and excitement. Candidates from various backgrounds and with different visions for the future of the party stepped into the spotlight, each hoping to capture the hearts and minds of Democratic voters across the nation. Kamala Harris found herself thrust into the role of frontrunner. Her experience as a senator and former attorney general gave her a strong foundation, and her campaign quickly gained momentum. Harris's message of justice and equality resonated with many, and her ability to connect with diverse communities made her a formidable candidate. However, the pressure of leading the pack brought its own set of challenges, but her path to the nomination was far from assured. The primary season was filled with debates, town halls, and endless campaigning. Each candidate had to navigate the complex dynamics of appealing to both the progressive and moderate wings of the party. Voters were looking for someone who could not only defeat the incumbent president, but also bring about meaningful change. Pete Buttigieg, the young and charismatic former mayor, emerged as a formidable contender. His message of generational change and fresh leadership struck a chord with many younger voters. Buttigieg's ability to articulate complex policy issues in a relatable way made him a standout in the crowded field. His campaign events were filled with energy and optimism, drawing large crowds wherever he went. Stacey Abrams, the voting rights activist, emerged as a powerful voice for change. Her work in fighting voter suppression and advocating for fair elections had earned her national recognition. Abrams's campaign focused on expanding access to the ballot box and ensuring that every vote counted. Her passionate speeches and grassroots organizing efforts inspired many to get involved in the political process. Bernie Sanders, the elder statesman of the progressive movement, remained a force to be reckoned with. His consistent message of economic justice and universal health care continued to resonate with a significant portion of the electorate. Sanders' ability to mobilize a dedicated base of supporters, many of whom were young and enthusiastic, made him a key player in the race. His rallies were often filled with fervor and a sense of urgency for systemic change. The Democratic primary promised to be a battle of ideas and a test of the party's ability to unite. Each candidate brought their own vision for the future, and the debates were a platform for showcasing their policies and leadership qualities. The discussions often highlighted the diversity of thought within the party, from progressive to centrist viewpoints. The primary was not just about choosing a nominee, it was about defining the direction of the Democratic Party for years to come. The stakes couldn't be higher, the challenges more daunting. The nation was at a crossroads, facing issues such as healthcare, climate change, and economic inequality. The Democratic Party needed a leader who could address these challenges head-on and bring the country together. The primary season was a critical moment for the party to prove its ability to lead and to offer a compelling alternative to the current administration. The opportunity for change was profound. This was a chance to reshape the political landscape and to build a more inclusive and equitable society. The candidates and their supporters were driven by a shared sense of purpose and a belief in the power of democracy. As the primary season unfolded, the nation watched closely, knowing that the outcome would have far-reaching implications for the future of the country. Across the aisle, the mood among Republicans was a mix of cautious optimism and barely concealed glee. Biden's decision not to seek re-election was seen as a golden opportunity. The Republican field once again was Trump's to lose. His loyal base of supporters remained a formidable force. Yet, cracks in Trump's armor were beginning to show. Ron DeSantis positioned himself as a Trumpian heir. Nikki Haley offered a more traditional brand of conservatism. The Republican primary promised to be a battle for the soul of the party. As the 2024 election cycle kicked into high gear, a palpable sense of anxiety gripped the nation. The country felt more divided than ever. Trust in institutions had eroded. Misinformation spread like wildfire on social media. The stakes in the 2024 election couldn't have been higher. The outcome would determine the course of the nation for years to come. As the campaign season reached its climax, the American people faced a stark choice. The Democrats offered a message of hope and progress. The Republicans promised a return to greatness. The debates were contentious, the rhetoric heated. But amidst the noise, a glimmer of hope emerged. The American people began to demand better from their leaders. The future remained unwritten, the possibilities endless. With the 2024 election decided, it was time to reflect on the legacy of President Joe Biden. His journey to the presidency was one of resilience and determination, marked by decades of public service and a commitment to the American people. Biden had assumed the presidency at a moment of profound crisis. The nation was grappling with unprecedented challenges. From a global pandemic that had claimed countless lives to an economy in turmoil. The nation was reeling from a deadly pandemic and a deeply divided electorate. The political landscape was fraught with tension, and the American people were yearning for unity and healing. Yet, with his trademark empathy, he had guided the country through the storm. Biden's ability to connect with people on a personal level, to listen and to understand their struggles, became a cornerstone of his leadership. His presidency had been marked by both triumphs and setbacks. Legislative victories, such as the passage of significant infrastructure and healthcare reforms, were celebrated. However, he also faced criticism and challenges, particularly in areas like immigration and foreign policy. But throughout it all, he had remained true to his core values. His commitment to justice, equality, and the well-being of all Americans never wavered. He sought to build a more inclusive and fair society, often drawing on his own experiences of loss and perseverance. His presidency, though brief, had left an indelible mark on the nation. As he addressed the nation one final time, he spoke of hope and resilience, urging Americans to continue striving for a better future. His legacy would be remembered not just for the policies he enacted, but for the compassion and humanity he brought to the highest office in the land.